Imagine standing before a city so mighty, its walls reach for the sky. This is Jericho, a fortress that laughs in the face of armies. Its gates are barred, its towers stand proud, and its name alone strikes fear into the hearts of travelers. It's an impenetrable stronghold, a symbol of human power and defiance. But for the nation of Israel, standing at its doorstep, Jericho is more than just a city. It's the first great test, the first giant to fall in the land, promised to them by God. Leading them is Joshua, a man chosen by God to succeed Moses. They've just witnessed a miracle, crossing the flooded Jordan River on dry ground. Their faith is high, but now, the reality of their task looms large. Before them stands Jericho, a physical barrier between them and their destiny. How could they possibly conquer such a place? Swords and spears are useless against these colossal stone walls. The challenge seems impossible, a dream-crushing reality check right at the beginning of their journey. To understand the enemy, Joshua sends some spies into the heart of the fortress. It's a dangerous mission. If caught, death is certain. They slip through the city's defenses, gathering information when they find an unlikely ally in the most unexpected of places. Her name is Rahab. She lives in a house built right into the city wall. The people of Jericho are terrified of the Israelites and their God, but Rahab's fear has turned into something else. Faith. She's heard the stories, the parting of the Red Sea, the victories in the wilderness, and she believes that Israel as God is the one true God of heaven and earth. When the king of Jericho learns of the spies, he sends soldiers to capture them. But Rahab acts quickly. She hides the men on her roof, beneath stalks of flax, and misdirects the soldiers, sending them on a wild goose chase out of the city. Why would she risk her life for these strangers? Because she sees a future beyond Jericho's woes. She makes a pact with the spies. "I have shown you kindness," she says, "so promise me that you will show kindness to my family and save us when your army comes." The spies agree. They give her a single instruction: hang a scarlet cord from your window. This cord will be a sign. Everyone inside your house will be spared when the city falls. It's a simple act of faith, a red thread of hope against a backdrop of impending doom. With the spies safely returned, Joshua receives his battle plan directly from God, and it's one of the strangest strategies in military history. There will be no siege engines, no battering rams, no scaling ladders. Instead, the entire army of Israel is to march around the city once a day for 6 days. At the head of the procession will be priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant, and 7 other priests will carry trumpets made from ram's horns. The most bizarre part, they must do it all in complete silence. No war cries, no taunts, just the sound of marching feet and the shuffling of a nation on the move. Can you imagine the scene? A silent army circling a city, an act of pure, unadulterated obedience. So the march begins. Day 1. The massive Israelite army circles the towering walls and then returns to camp. Inside Jericho, the defenders watch from the ramparts, utterly bewildered. What kind of attack is this? Is it a joke? A psychological game? Day 2, the same thing. Day 3, they march again. The silence is deafening, more unnerving than any battle cry. Confusion begins to curdle into unease. By day 4 and 5, the silent procession has become a terrifying ritual. The people of Jericho are on edge. This isn't how wars are fought. The steady, silent march chips away at their confidence, sowing seeds of dread. Their impenetrable walls suddenly don't feel so secure. This silent, patient army and their invisible God are unlike any enemy they have ever known. The rhythm of the march becomes a countdown, and a palpable fear grips the once invincible city. The 7th day arrives. But today is different. The Israelites rise before dawn. This time, they won't circle the city just once. God's instruction is to march around it 7 times. 7 silent laps. The tension is almost unbearable. The sun climbs higher in the sky, beating down on the marching soldiers and the anxious watchers on the wall. The city is holding its breath. After the 7th lap is complete, the procession halts. The entire nation of Israel stands still, facing the walls. Then, a new sound cuts through the silence. The 7 priests raise their ram's horns and blow a long, powerful, sustained blast. The air itself seems to vibrate with the note. In that moment of ringing silence that follows the trumpet blast, Joshua gives the command. He turns to the people, to the hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children who have marched in faith, and he cries out, "Shout! For the Lord has given you the city." And with one voice, a nation that had been silent for 7 days lets out a thunderous roar. It's not just a sound of aggression, it's a shout of faith, of victory, of release. The very ground begins to shake. The great walls of Jericho, the symbol of human pride and strength, don't just crack or crumble in one spot. They collapse. They fall flat, turning from a formidable defense into a dusty, level ramp for the Israelite army to charge straight. The battle is swift. The Israelites pour into the now defenseless city. Amidst the chaos and collapse, the spies remember their promise. They race through the ruins to find the one section of the wall that is miraculously still standing. Rahab's house. There, hanging from her window, is the scarlet cord, a beacon of faith in a city of rubble. They find her and her entire family, safe and sound, just as they promised. They lead them out of the destruction and into the safety of the Israelite camp. The promise was kept. The act of faith was rewarded. A life was saved not by the strength of walls, but by a simple thread of hope and trust in a God who keeps his word. So what does this ancient story mean for us today? The fall of Jericho is a powerful lesson in faith and obedience. The Israelites didn't win because of their military might, but because they trusted God's seemingly illogical plan. They walked in faith when it made no sense, and they shouted in faith before they saw the victory. And then there's Rahab, a woman on the margins of society, an outsider, who was not only saved, but was welcomed into the nation of Israel. Her story doesn't end there. She goes on to become an ancestor in the lineage of King David, and ultimately, of Jesus Christ himself. It's a beautiful reminder that no one is too far gone, and no past is too broken for God's grace. The walls we build around our own lives, the fortresses of fear, pride, or regret, they can seem just as impossible to overcome. But the story of Jericho tells us that with faith, even the strongest walls can come tumbling down. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content.